Hi, this is Pearl and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be working on week 50 of my 2019 Project Life album. You'll see I have all my photos printed here and I have the dates written on the back of the photos. I like to keep them in semi-chronological order. So I'm going to divide the photos up by date, and then I like to go from the top left to the bottom left to the top right to the bottom right in chronological order. Basically in chronological order. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I just like that theme so I can see how the week progressed. So as I'm putting the pictures out, I have the December 12th transparency there. It's going to be flipped in the actual album because I used it for last week's Project Life spread. I'm going through the Studio Calico Greenwich kit and looking for some 3x4 cards to place into some of these holes. And I am always looking for the best ones to put in for whatever journaling I need to do or however it's going to work, but also the colors that will all go together. The journaling cards at least, because the photos are all different kinds of colors. But I try not to get too concerned about that because I know that the kit all goes together. And I don't want to make all of my pictures black and white because then 20 years from now, I'm going to wonder what it actually looked like. So here's a picture of our elves, Doodle and Peppermint, and they were up to no good. I'm using black Stays-On ink to stamp the date using the Felicity Jane date stamp onto the photo. I like to date every journaling card and photo with the date, and Stays-On works best to stamp on photo. I'm using a chipboard with the bows to just embellish that page a little bit. And for my title card, it's always the middle, it's always the left 3x4 card. I'm going to put a 5-0 there with using the Felicity Jane Essentials Puffy stickers, and I'll link everything that I use down below. I'm using the stamp set here that came with the kit, and I'm going to use the Versa Magic ink to stamp this red bow. And the thing with the Versa Magic is I could not find this red brick color anywhere. So I don't know if they're not selling these anymore or if I just couldn't find them. So just use any red ink for that. And I like this because it's kind of chalky looking. And then I'm going to use the stamp chamois to clean that off. It helps with the environment because I'm not using a bunch of baby wipes, and I've had that stamp chamois for a long time, if you can't tell by how dirty that is, but it still works perfectly. Then I'm using this VersaFine Black Onyx stamp. This is great for fine stamping, and I have it just off of the red bow because it looks like watercolor effect when it's not just perfectly on the bow. So that's how I embellish the title card. Then I'm going to go on to the next journaling card. I'm dating the sewing machine, and then I'm going to actually use the alpha stickers that came with this and put mine on there. I had those We Are Memory Keepers sewing machines, the Stitch Happies, and I could not get them to work. I had two different kinds, and finally I just got rid of those and I just bought myself a real sewing machine. This is one of those just cheap ones that I found online, and all I do is stitch on paper, so all I need to do is get it to work. So on this journaling card, I put a chipboard with the wreath there, and I'm going to stamp the word joy from the stamp set into the middle of it. And then I'm going to write down my journaling with, I'm using the Stabilo Dark Gray fine liner pen. I like to use something that's not as dark as black, but yet you can still see the writing clearly. And I finally broke down and purchased a real sewing machine on Black Friday. Now this next picture that I have that's covered with the post-it notes is I found, or I received an email with an email that showed how much our house is worth. So I just did a screenshot of that and just put it in there because who knows, years down the line I might want to know how much our house is worth. And I'm just using that to cover the reindeer picture because I know I'm never going to use that one. So I go ahead and stamp that down, and then I'm going to go to the next picture. I use the labels from the Studio Calico Print and Cut for the Greenwich, and it always matches the kit, so it's a no-brainer for me. I like to have a a systematic way of working all of my layouts so that it takes minimal decision making so that it'll go quickly. And I wrote, celebrating my birthday 2 months late at Snooze with Mia Rubin and Jocelyn Tam. My birthday was back in October, and we just had a hard time getting together to celebrate my birthday. But I love that these girls continue to want to get together, even though it was 2 months later. Now this next picture is of my daughter at Ulta. She's 5 and she loves makeup, and she decided that she wanted to buy this makeup case, and it was $20, and she asked, do I have enough money in my account to buy this? Because my kids buy their toys or anything that they want other than clothes with their own money. So I wrote, while shopping at Ulta for a Christmas gift, Kaya saw this sparkly zip bag full of makeup. She purchased this $20 kit with her own money. And look at that attitude. Teen years are going to be a little bit hard on me. Okay, then we're going to go move over to the right hand side of the layout. After I finish this journaling and date stamping it using these, I used the VersaFine since I did it right on the label. And I'm using a tiny attacher to add some texture to the labels as well. Now the right side of the layout, my girlfriend decided to do a white elephant gift party for her son and his friends, which I think is so awesome because everyone thinks of white elephant gift parties and they're always with girls, right? So she had one for a bunch of 7, 8-year-olds, and I wrote, when he was invited to Shane's white elephant Christmas party, love these boys. These boys play a lot of their sports together, and since my son is not at the same school with these kids, I love that he's still included in these events. So I use the label from the print and cut and using a tiny attacher. And then this next picture is a picture of my son. When we were at Michael's one day, he asked me to purchase a drawing book for him. And look at how good he is. This is the first day he got it. He spent all day drawing things from this book. I love that he loves to do that. I can't draw even stick figures, so this is huge. And I wrote, while at Michael's, I saw this drawing book. I got it, and he's been drawing ever since. I also got him a drawing book or a journal so that he can keep all his sketches together. And then I used a chipboard that says lovely and put it on the bottom right-hand corner of the page. And I always like to have embellishments come off the page. So I put an embellishment down and then I'll cut off the edge of the embellishment so it looks like it's coming off the page. So I do that with a lovely chipboard. And then this next picture is of my daughter with her dance besties, Carrie and Aspen. These girls have been dancing together for years, and now they're 4 or 5 years old and they're on the dance team together. So this next picture is of me taking my littles to go see the Grinch at the Old Globe Theater. The bigs decided that they didn't want to go, so I wrote, the littles and I went to the Old Globe Theater to watch the Grinch. It's our annual tradition. And this is the first year that the bigs did not want to go. So sad. The bottom left picture is of my daughter's dance party, and the one on the right is of my daughter while we were at the Grinch. We were watching the street dancers as we were walking back to the car, and really loud she says, I can do that, and all the people around us turned around because there were some moves that the street dancers were doing that she does in her acro class. It was so funny because everyone turned around and here's this little kid that was saying that. Now this picture is of the dance party, and I wrote, Kaya loves being with the big girls from dance, and they are so kind to all the little kids and so loving, and they include my daughter in everything. I love that, and I love these girls so much. So there you have it. That's my week 50. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this process video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.